Ki Jai, Radharaman Bihari, Radhavinath Bihari, Radhanayan Bihari Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ki Jai, Radha Damodara Dashyama Sundara Gokulananda Radharaman Ki Jai, Krishna Balaram Maharaj Ki Jai, Prishta Om Vishnupad Astutra Satyashimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Om Vishnupad Parivrajacharya Astutra Satyashimad Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Prishtam Vishnupad Astutra Satyashimad Bhakti Pragyan Kesho Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Prishtam Vishnu, give some fresh air, open some window if possible, this door also. We finished cooking. Hey, open door. Prishtam Vishnupad Astutra Satyashimad Bhakti Jivan Janarna Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Prishtam Vishnupad Shimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shrimad Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shrimad Bhakti Rakshakshidhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shrimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shrimad Gaur-Govinda Maharaj Ki Jai, Prishtam Vishnupad Shrimad Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Param Bhagat Shila Gur Kishore Das Bhuji Maharaj Ki Jai, Saptam Goswami Satchidananda Shila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Bhuji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shri Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Sarup Damadara Rai Ramananda Shri Gaur Parishada Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem se ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Navadvip Mandal Ki Jai, Vraj Mandal Ki Jai, Kshetra Mandal Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Primanandi, Shri London Sangha Ki Jai Ho. Okay. Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Nama Nama Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Anandalilamaya Vigrahaya Mabadivicha Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janvapataye Namaha Ajanulambita Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanaya Kapitaro Kamalaya Vishwambaro Dujavaro Jugadharma Palavande Jagat Priya Karo Karunavataram Sri Caitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Adadanastrinam Dantairidam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupam Padambojam Dulisyam Janma Janmane Kanakajaladagatro Nilashonab Janetro Mrigamadavaravalo Malati Kundamala Taralatarunavesho Nilapitambaresho Smaranibrita Nikunje Radhika Krishna Chandro Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvayavina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantike Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Никопаться, пошевеливайся. He understands some Russian. The other way around, you rascal. Okay, finally it's done. By a few pushing steps, huh?
Jen comes a little bit hard of hearing.
Hard of hearing. So what shall I do?
A little bit now.
You want to sit here? Sit here?
Yeah.
No,
Like this?
Closer.
no, it's okay. I can hear you.
You can hear.
Oh, okay.
Just about.
Yeah. Right? Really here?
You want to sit here?
Because this thing corrupts the sound, you know.
It corrupts.
You become like a police officer, you know.
Yeah.
No, the road police. So you can sit closer. Right. Sit here. Don't. Are why shy?
No.
Sit.
I'll put my glasses on.
Yeah,
I can
glasses
do that.
and everything. Me? No. That's, carry away. Thank you. You can drink yourself if I. I would prefer to drink pure nectar rather than water. So, First of all, my unlimited dandavat pranams to lotus feet of Srila Gurudev, Nitya Prishta Om Vishnupad, Astutra Sata Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Shiksha Gurudeva Som Vishnupad, Astutra Sata Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, Shrimati Krishna Priyata Kurani. Also, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, whose Rupa-siksa, instructions to whom of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu we were hearing these days. Also to Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, also to dear devotees and friends who have gathered here in Sundarananda Dham, Camden. So we're very happy to see everyone. Today is a completely different team, almost completely. Some faces from yesterday I recognize, other faces new. So, okay, that's all some face very familiar, yes, from programs 1 and 2. But anyway, we were hearing instructions of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu to Sri Rupa Goswami. As you remember, Sri Rupa Goswami heard from Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu for 10 days, very essential instructions. In that way, can you hear everything? Okay. In that way, can you close a little? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu infused Srila Rupa Goswami with his conceptions. So, you remember the story of the 3 dolls? The first doll had outlet from one ear to the other, and the cost was 5 rupees. It's like nothing, less than 5p. The other doll was 50, and the third one was 500. Why? Because the second doll was mechanical, was able to repeat Krishna, Krishna, Rama, Rama, like this. And the third one was very, very philosophical. Through the channel from the doll's ear, there was direct channel to her heart. She was able to imbibe everything she was hearing in her heart and then speak realized knowledge. So the price was 500 rupees, therefore. So, Shrutakshita Pato, that is the method. Lord Brahma said when he was praying for creative energy, he said to Lord Narayan, Supreme Lord, that the path of hearing, Shrutakshita Pato, that is the method. We see through hearing. We haven't seen Lord Krishna, we haven't seen Lord Chaitanya, but we hear about them from Sri Guru, and realization comes from the ear to the heart, and then from the heart, realization comes. And as Srila Gurudev was saying, preaching, what is preaching? It's belching of bhajan, means of devotional life. When you've eaten nicely, then you belch naturally. It's a good tone in Bengal and Japan and some more countries. So it means the process is going. It means you can really realize and can speak up. And when you speak, it's not you, it's through you. Electricity is going. So that is the method. That is the method. Not mental, as Srila Gurudev used to say in his funny English, excupulation. No mental speculation. This is the real process. In the same way as current transformer transforms the initial current into all our buildings, all our apartments, and he does this completely selflessly. In that same way, true disciple, true hearer transforms whatever he hears through his heart and then gives to others, gives to so many users. So that's the method of preaching. The initial method of preaching was demonstrated by Srila Rupa Goswami. Further on, Srila Rupa Goswami, as well as Sanatana and all the other Goswamis, wrote all books necessary for disseminating this bhakti yoga, this Krishna consciousness. Because people of this world are burning alive in that fire of material existence. Fire of material existence. They're burning, same as animals are burning in the forest. They cannot escape. But Sri Guru comes as a torrential rain and extinguishes the fire. So all the population of the forest becomes saved. So that water, that nectar, is what? Hari Katha, or narrations about Krishna. which were heard with the same method. Shrutakshita pato means path from hearing to the heart, and it's given further on. So last time we were hearing about, you remember, Stuart, the measurement of the living entity. Yes, 10,000 of the tip of a hair, and so many living entities, amongst which the human body is a great achievement, because only 400,000 species of life belongs to human type. 8,400,000 total. 8 million of different other species, such as stones, the trees, and aquatics, and then birds, and then insects, etc., 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 mammals, and finally humans. Also demigods, very developed intelligence, but human form is very rare and very valuable. Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahusambhavante manushya martadam anityam api hadiram turnam yatatana pateshan dushrinda yavat sheshai vishayakal sarvatasyat. Srimad Bhagavatam says that this human form of life is extremely rare and extremely valuable. Sudurlabham, very rare, very rare. We were saying last time, in that same way as a little turtle. There's a little chance that the turtle in the vast ocean dives out through a circle, like a wooden circle floating on the water, particularly through that circle. It's a very small chance. So to receive human body is such a rarity. Demigods up there in heavens, queuing up to receive human bodies. So they sometimes can imitate, they can come as humans temporarily, like for Ratha Yatra, for example, then come back. But to become real human, to be able to serve the Lord, it's not so easily available privilege. So that therefore they're queuing up, so to speak. So because so much sense enjoyment there in paradise. So we were speaking about different levels of consciousness, and I'm requiring my assistants to share your realization about different types of consciousness. Purushottam, you remember the 5 main types of consciousness? Sanskrit, please. No, the first one is not Mukulita. First one? Ah?
Remember in English.
Okay, say in English.
Immoral atheist.
No, this is the supplementary 5.
Oh, shunted consciousness.
No. The first one is not. What is the first type of consciousness? Purushottam. Huh? He read Javadharma a little bit today, I saw. But you? Completely covered. What's the name? Nayan. Achadita Chetana. 3 times repeat. Once again. Listen. Achadita Chetana. Repeat. Completely covered consciousness. Repeat. Be attentive. What you hear, you repeat. Achadita Chetana. Repeat. Completely covered consciousness. Achadita Chetana. Completely covered consciousness. Achadita Chetana. Completely covered consciousness. So what living entities have completely covered consciousness? Stones. Trees, like very undeveloped. They can hardly feel. Okay, so this is Achadita, completely covered, cannot do anything. Something you can do, but before mountains used to fly. The stories, but then Indra cut their wings. Lord of Heaven, Zeus in Greek mythology. So anyway, but quite primitive consciousness. To become a stone is a great punishment. Sinful people, they can become stones for their sins. Sometimes it happens. Often it happens. Impersonalists who want to melt the existence of the Lord, it's not possible to melt, so they become stones, and they become trees, like this.
Sorry, question. How do you like if stones are entities, how do they get released How do they move on from the stone?
Well, I hope if a great sage just spills some Charitamrita on them, that helps a lot. Or some sage made a cave in those stones and was chanting and they were hearing. Yeah, so many ways they can be engaged in, for example, building a bridge to Lanka. many, like Govardhan. Anyway, there were many living entities. So it's okay. So, but generally, Achadita Chetna means completely covered consciousness. So the next level of consciousness is Sanskrit, please. Let's talk in gentleman language. Highly developed. So the second is called Achadita Chetana. Achadita Chetana means shrunken consciousness.
What was the first one?
Huh? So what was my question to you? What was the first one? You already forgot what was the first one. Somebody said, Nayan, what was the first one? Achadita means? Huh? Means? Okay, you repeat?
Achadita Chetana.
Yes.
But then what was the other?
You just repeat now. You're asking something which is irrelevant. Repeat
Achadita
and remember.
Chetana.
Yes.
Fully covered consciousness.
Fully covered consciousness. Thank you. So the next one is shrunken consciousness. In Sanskrit, it's called Sankuchita Chetana. 3, 4. Sankuchita Chetana. Loudly, brave. Sankuchita Chetana. Now you repeat. Okay. Shrunken consciousness.
Shrunken consciousness.
Sankuchita Chetana. Shrunken consciousness. Sankuchita Chetana. Shrunken consciousness. You're just whispering, you know. So, which living entities have shrunken consciousness? Yeah, those moving living entities. Huh?
Bird.
Yes, birds, beasts, different kinds of insects, fish.
Is it only those which cannot talk?
Parrots can talk, but it doesn't matter. Some monkeys can talk also. Some dogs can talk. Right. So,
Shrunken.
yes. But their consciousness is very shrunken. So, that is lower than human. So, now attention. Human consciousness. 3 divisions out of 5. Yeah. What is the third one? Who remembers? Mukulita Chetana means budding, finally starts to bud a little bit. Some hint that it will be blossoming, but not now. Now it's just the opening. Mukulita Chetana, budding consciousness. Mukulita Chetana, budding consciousness. Mukulita Chetana, budding consciousness. Okay, so so we'll just now remember the 4th and 5th, and then we'll explain the 3 in terms of 5, because they're division on 5. So the 4th level is blossoming consciousness or vikasita chetana. 3, 4. Blossoming consciousness. Vikasita chetana. Blossoming consciousness. Vikasita chetana. Blossoming consciousness. So those people who recognize God and those people who take up the path of sadhana bhakti, they have blossoming consciousness, right? And those people who have achieved success on the path of sadhana, they achieve bhava or ecstatic love for Krishna. So they have fully blossoming consciousness or purna vikasita chetana. Purna vikasita, fully blossoming consciousness. Purna vikasita chetana. Fully blossoming consciousness. Purna vikasita chetana. Fully blossoming consciousness. Okay, so these 3 last types, Mukulita Chetana, Vikasita Chetana, Purna Vikasita Chetana, or budding consciousness, blossoming consciousness, and fully blossoming consciousness, are subdivided into 5. So those 5 you started remembering. What's the first type? Human.
Immoral atheist.
Immoral atheists. Okay, so second.
Moral atheist.
Moral atheists, like Chinese, etc. So third.
Moral theist.
Moral theists. Then
Sadhakas.
sadhana bhaktas.
Sadhana.
And bhava bhaktas. Don't close. Okay, there's no noise, right? So bhava bhaktas, number 5. Don't close. No. Okay, so once again, 5 types. 5 types.
Immoral atheist.
Immoral atheists.
Moral atheist.
Moral atheists.
Moral theist.
Moral theists.
Sadhana bhaktas.
Sadhana bhaktas.
And bhava.
Bhava bhaktas. Okay, so what's the first 2 types, as we were saying, immoral atheists and moral atheists, they belong to Mukulita, or just budding consciousness. Their consciousness is just starting to bud. They start to move, they start to think, but they don't have the conception of God. That's why the consciousness is still budding, And moral theists is probably the majority of humankind. Moral theists. Those people have faith. Those people have particular faith and go to particular church. And they're saying, our faith is best. And if they are Catholics, they fight with Protestants. The Orthodox Christians, they fight with Catholics, etc., etc. And certainly they hate Muslims, all of them, and the vice versa. The Crusades and Jihad and all those things. So Hindu, Muslim, all those things. So these are believers. Their consciousness is starting to blossom a little bit. But it's like a preliminary level of blossoming consciousness. But truly blossoming consciousness is of those living entities who step on the path of sadhana bhajan, of sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means a path of spiritual upliftment, which is taken very consciously, which is taken by initiation of Sadhguru, of true spiritual master. What is the characteristic feature of that particular path of sadhana bhakti? The main characteristic, most important characteristic, that is completely Vedic. Completely Vedic. Means according to the Vedas. Stuart, you have conception what Vedas are. We talked a little bit. Those are initial books coming from eternity. They were never composed. They were recorded at the beginning of Kali Yuga, or this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, which started 5,000 years ago. We're talking the first 2 classes. So then we discussed how in the beginning of Kali Yuga people lost their memory, and therefore they had to be recorded by Vyasadeva, by literary incarnation of Krishna, Vyas, who meditated and recorded them. Because now people have no memory, and they have that as the, law books, how to act, what to do, what not to do. And most important Vedic books, Bhagavad Gita, short encyclopedic dictionary, Srimad Bhagavatam, large encyclopedia. So those people who hear the sound, transcendental sound vibration, by a guru who is fully, representing the path of pure devotional service according to the Vedas, they are called sadhana bhaktas, or devotees who are going towards perfection on the path of sadhana bhakti, or regulated devotional service. That is called, those are called sadhana bhaktas, and the consciousness, therefore, is blossoming or vikasita. And purna vikasita is the consciousness typical for those who have achieved complete success on the path of bhakti, and they are called bhava bhaktas, or those devotees whose mood, ecstatic mood, has awakened in the heart. Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they cry, sometimes they shed tears, sometimes they tremble, sometimes they roll on the ground, sometimes they change their bodily colors, etc., etc. These are ecstatic symptoms, very, very high level. Very, very soon, such personalities, unable to tolerate separation from Krishna, leave. They cannot stay in this gross material body. Very many transcendental types of transcendental emotions are typical for such personalities, but their consciousness is completely blossoming, or purna vikasita. Okay, so homework. Javadharma 15, 16. You read which chapter? 16, no? You were reading it. 16 or 15. You forgot.
I remember
Okay.
the page. I don't remember the chapter.
Okay. So Javadharma, I think it's still 16 types of consciousness. You remember. So important to understand. So thus, when a devotee, Brahmande, we heard yesterday, Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadipaya Bhakti Lata Bija. So that soul, as a little turtle, you know, floating in the ocean, and sometimes go down, all the way down, sometimes go up, some again down. But by the great, great, great good fortune, that such soul can meet bona fide spiritual master. And spiritual master can give his mercy in the form of sambandha jnana, or knowledge of relationship, given by a mantra. There is Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the holy name to chant, and there are special mantras which are included in the group of Gayatri mantras. So they chanted confidentially, silently. Those twice initiated on sacred thread, they chant. So that's to support the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is already everything. Yeah? Hare Krishna Mahamantra brings you to the lotus feet of Krishna. But Gayatri mantras, they are samsara mochan, they help you to get out of this material world. They help you. When you get out of material world, as Gopakumar, remember, Gopakumar stopped chanting Gopala mantra when he got to Vaikuntha and higher. He stopped chanting Gopala mantra. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari. That one. Yashoda Krishna. Yashoda Tanaya Prasida. Janana Vivala Bhira. Jivana Adikesha. So he was singing the holy name. He was not having any necessity for Gayatri mantras anymore. So then, what the disciple gets is Bhakti Lata Bija, or the seed of devotional service. That seed of devotional service has internal and external symptoms. What is Bhakti Lata Bija? How can you explain? The seed of devotional service. What is that? Can you take microscope and see what kind of seed is this? No. But you can see by internal and external symptoms. The internal symptom is Krishna Seva Vasana, or the desire to serve Krishna. That is what is born in the devotee's heart. Desire to serve Krishna. That desire to serve Krishna has external manifestation, which is called Shraddha, of faith. Shraddha. So internal is Krishna Seva Vasana, desire to serve Krishna. As we were saying yesterday, a driver called Joe all of a sudden has become Bhakta Joe and Bhakta driver. All right. So because the desire to serve Krishna awakened in his heart, and externally it manifested as Shraddha of faith. What is faith? What is Shraddha? Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said to, I think Sanatana Goswami said, yes. So yes, Shraddha Shabda Vishwas Kahe Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Hoile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Faith, or Shraddha, is a special disposition of the mind, which manifests in the deep conviction that only by serving Krishna I will fulfill all of my material duties. Attention, attention. That Shraddha, that faith, means that A devotee has firm conviction, I have to serve Krishna only. By that, I will fulfill all my material obligations, not desires, no material desires, but my duties, right? So such persons, they do their obligational duties automatically, out of habit, without any attachment. This is called Nishkam Karma Yoga, technically. Means you take your karma, you take your activities and dedicate to Krishna completely. Right. So there are many, many things to say here, but we have to move forward. So also there's another verse, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Namnaya Sutra is saying, Shraddha Tanyopaya Varjan Bhakti Unmukhi Chitta Vritti Visheshata. Can you just turn off the sounds? Thank you very much. So Shraddha is special propensity of the heart that strives towards bhakti alone. It is totally devoid of karma and jnana, reward-seeking activity, and desire to cultivate both empirical or impersonal knowledge. And there's nothing other than to give pleasure to Krishna. That's it. That is Krishna Seva Vasana. That's the definition actually of Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Krishna. What is that? Shraddha Tanyopaya Varjan. So Shraddha, it manifested externally as Shraddha. But actually, what is the internal definition of that faith? No? That is desire to serve Krishna. So again, Bhakti Lata Beach internally is desire to serve Krishna. Externally, faith, Shraddha. So, Shraddha Tanyopaya Varjan, Bhakti Unmukhi Chitta Vritti Visheshata. Visheshaha. No, Shraddha is a special, very special, a propensity of the heart that strives towards bhakti alone. Like a channel is opened, and the channel spontaneously flows towards bhakti. Where is bhakti? Karma, jnana, disregarding. Only straight towards bhakti, like flowing river, towards the sea. The river disregards all, the trees, the fields, the mountains, what's on the sides. It doesn't matter. Ocean, that's the goal. Ocean, that's the destination. So the water organically runs there, like a magnet, attracting. So that is called Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Krishna. But that Shraddha, faith, has also external manifestation. That is called Sharanagati. Sharanagati, or surrender to Krishna, which has sixfold structure. Yeah, Shadanga Sharanagati Hai Beja. What's that? Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshashititi vishwasa guptrit vivaranam tata atmanikshepa karpaniya shadvida sharanagatihi. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam, to accept what is favorable, to reject what is unfavorable. Then pratikulyasya varjanam rakshashititi vishwasa, firm conviction, Krishna will always protect me. Goptritva varanam katata. I have firm conviction. Krishna is my Gopta. Krishna will always protect me. And maintain. Oh, maintain. Yes. Protect was rakshashititi. Maintain me. Maintain and protect. What is the difference between maintain and protect? Maintain at all times and protect at the time of danger. There's a danger. And the time of danger, O Nrisimhadev, for half man, half lion incarnation, please protect me. So that is called Krishna as a Rakshak, as protector. And finally, Atma Nikshepa, complete dedication to Krishna of one's soul. And Karpanya means humility. Yeah, humility means I'm just a fallen servant. I'm nothing special, actually. Nothing in particular. But Krishna is all in all. So I'm dedicating to him. I'm a little speck of dust, No. So people in this world, consider themselves very important as a rule. My grandfather was a deputy minister. He was very proud of his position. And he was coming from his job, normally after some cooperative, So he was a bit high on something, and he was pointing his index finger and he was saying, Granddad is ooh means very significant. I remember his red face and granddad is ooh. Ooh. So everybody is thinking I'm ooh, but actually ooh. This nothing in particular, just mediocre, but nothing special. One devotee, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, your Gurudev, wanted to disclose his heart to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I'm most fallen. Prabhupada said, you're not most anything. You're just insignificant. That's the real position. And there's another anecdote. Yeah, so Jagatam Didi provoking me to remember something about Srila Prabhupada. So once Prabhupada was on a building site somewhere in Canada. They were building a new temple, I think. And all of a sudden he found a cockroach. So he was not too much shy, and he took cockroach in his hands, looked into his eyes and said, enjoy, the whole world for you to enjoy, and threw him out on the grass. It's that anecdote, this true story. So we're cockroaches, but thinking that very important. So sadhu finally, but sadhu will tell the mantra. He will not just throw enjoy. No, sadhu will tell the mantra, the proper process, and then a devotee will become sadhana bhakta. When a devotee is sadhana bhakta, sadhaka, means spiritual student, or how to say, spiritual, let us say, practitioner. So then he is starting to be a mali. Mali means a gardener, because the bija, or the seed of devotional service we were mentioning, starts to sprout. So it's a miracle, First, like people sometimes say, oh, show me a miracle, show me a miracle. Just look in the garden, and look how many seeds there are at the gardener's disposal. He has special, place. He keeps all those seeds, so you can see. Huge trees are stored there in potential form as seeds. So in the seed, everything is included. Everything, all the tree, with all of his fruits, leaves, twigs, trunk, everything, all parts. Huge tree which can stand, I've seen oaks here in England next to Stansted Airport, like 500 or 600 years old. 5 people cannot go around, you cannot hold it alone. You need 5 or 6 people. Huge oaks. So from Robin Hood's times, really. So such a tree from little acorn, you see. So that's mystery. And bhakti is such a mystery also. We have just small proclivity, And that person who is sitting at a glass of beer, and saying Krishna because Hare Krishnas are coming by, he's doing his first step. This is his first step to perfection. He's intoxicated. I'm enjoying here. But Krishna, oh, this is something. That's something which turns you on in whatever condition you can be. Forgetful, pitiful, If you chant Krishna, that is your step towards path of perfection. Without envy, without anger, no negative emotions, neutrally. Oh, Krishnas are coming, good. So some positivity is there. So that is the first step. So, but then Shravana Kirtana, or hearing and chanting and remembering, is performed consciously. There are 64 types, 64 items of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering being most important ones. Out of them, number 1 is so maybe this way, maybe that way. See, this is your actually duplicity. So you don't know, but you want to show that you know. Shravanam, then Kirtanam, no? Or maybe Kirtanam, then Shravanam. You have to be one-pointed, only Kirtanam. Sarvasreshta Nama Sankirtan Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. That is Srila Sanatana Goswami. Siddhanta Bole Chaitanya Nakaralas. Krishna Sudrida Manas. Don't be lazy to study Siddhanta, then your mind will become fixed. Now the mind is many branched, Krishna is saying to Arjuna. That's why tomorrow we'll continue in Watford. There will be a small meeting and we'll continue to discuss these things. So yeah, so you can watch us online. Yes, so the Bhakti Kripa, being situated in the heart and being watered by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, hearing, chanting and remembering, grows more and more. In this way it attains the shelter of the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna. So in this map, somehow or other it doesn't show, but in a larger map there's a line here which leads all the way up to Goloka Vrindavan, all the way there. And the line is made of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's the thread which takes you from this world to the other world. The holy name, student, very important. The holy name takes you from material world to spiritual world. That's a like magic ticket which is in your pocket or in your phone, and you just show it to Yamaraj. Yamaraj said, Yamaraj, Lord of Death, said, yes, sir. Okay, please. No checking, And guardians of spiritual world will open gates for you. Most welcome. That's your ticket, Like you insert it and the door is opening, like in airport, right? Just bang, one sound, and you're most welcome because you have this in your possession. What? The holy name. Holy name, actually, you have to give yourself to the holy name. Then the holy name will be yours. When you give yourself to Krishna, Krishna is yours. Really. When you say, Krishna, I'm yours, then Krishna is yours. Until you say Krishna is yours, Krishna is not yours. It's there as Paramatma. We were asking Srila Gurudev, if one, for example, is not initiated, or one's practice is so-so, who is hearing the prayers? When one practices Sharanagati, Shadanga Sharanagati Hoive Jahartahara Prarthane Shuna Srinanda Kumar. In the Sharanagati song, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the beginning of Sharanagati songbook, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings those words. Those who practice this Sharanagati sixfold process, accepting what is favorable, rejecting what is unfavorable, accepting Krishna as one's guardian and one's maintainer, always being surrendered to Krishna and always meek and humble, then Krishna personally hears your prayers. Personally. But until this is not a fact, who hears the prayers? Sakshi, or witness in the heart. Who is that? Paramatma, super soul. Super soul. But super soul is very general. Super soul helps a dog to find the bone, a thief to find the unlocked balcony, like this. So it's, great genius to make some discovery, so etc., etc. But the devotee, if he is surrendered to Krishna, then Krishna accepts and saying, oh, this soul is mine. So I personally will help. I personally will instruct. I personally will take that soul to spiritual world. And in spiritual world, Paramatma or super soul will end his function. Only know Paramatma in spiritual world. Paramatma in spiritual world is Krishna himself already. Paramatma is a function of Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, which is active in this world only, yes. When you go there, Paramatma ends, yes, Paramatma ends its function, because you fully develop your spiritual body. So the Kripa greatly expands and penetrates the border of this material world and goes into Goloka Vrindavana, where it finds shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, which are wish-fulfilling tree, like wish-fulfilling tree. Spiritual sky. When your spiritual body is active, then what happens is you cannot stay here too long. Very, very soon, you take birth in Goloka Vrindavan as a planet in material world, which is like supreme planet of Krishna in spiritual world. For example, on our earth now, there's a city called Vrindavan. So that city is actually not different from the highest planet of Krishna in spiritual world. It's like an embassy. For example, there's an embassy of India in London, and that's actually territory of India. But we consider it a building in a certain street of London, etc., etc. But actually, it's not England. That's India, by de jure, how to say, official, legally. But Vrindavan, which, although being situated in Uttar Pradesh state and 150 kilometers from New Delhi, having its police, having its post office, having its infrastructure, etc., actually is de facto territory of spiritual world. And that's the starting platform for those who want to fly to spiritual world like in a rocket. So that's why we reside in Vrindavan, because that's the great what's that, space port, for spaceships. So we can go to spiritual world very, very easily. It's no different from spiritual world. So there's just one impediment, one great obstacle which can stop the development of that kripa. That is Vaishnava aparat, or offense to a devotee. Very, very great obstacle. Yeah. So that great obstacle is called Hatimata, or a mad elephant offense. You are growing a nice creeper in your garden, but an elephant breaks through the fence, plunders all the garden, and tramples the creeper and uproots with his trunk like this. So the creeper is dead. It's a very great tragedy. So never criticize anyone. We were telling a story yesterday. I want to tell everyone again, nice story by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. There was one king, and he was feeding the sadhus, saints. Previously, kings were very pious in previous ages, and traveling holy people were coming sometimes to kingdom, and the king was arranging for food for them, for lodging, etc. So some needs, satisfying the needs. So he was feeding those sadhus. And one time he arranged for so many great souls to be fed. They were sitting in lines, but all of a sudden an eagle came. An eagle was having a dead snake in his, what's beak? Beak, yes. And the snake was like half dead, and poison was just dropping down. And some poison dropped into the plates of those sadhus. And immediately eagle flew away, so nobody even noticed. And those sadhus, those great souls, ate the poisoned food and died, some of them, 4 or 5 people. And then, great calamity, this king was just, oh, find me, I'm doomed, the Lord, oh, what have I done? But actually, it was not his fault at all. It was no one's fault. So Yamaraj was scratching his head, what's going on? Yamaraj, Lord of Death. Who to punish now? It's no one's fault, but people died. So holy people died. Suddenly they get good destination. But somebody was guilty in that. So, but I cannot see any reason to punish anyone. Yamaraj decided. But then on another occasion, another group of sadhus, great souls, came to that kingdom, and they wanted to see the king. They didn't know where the palace was situated, so they asked a lady, some ordinary lady from that city, where is the palace of the king? Oh, that direction, but you have to know that that king, by the way, is known as the killer of brahmanas. So Yamaraj heard that conversation, Lord of Death, and he said, oh, I can see now. Who will take that reaction? 100% that lady will take. 100% of that election she will take. Why? Because what she said was not true. If even it was true, if the king was really the poisoner, if he had poisoned all those pilgrims on purpose, then she would have taken 50%, because that is true, okay, anyway. So that person is a miscreant. But that person who is criticizing a miscreant unnecessarily takes 50% of his sins. That's like arithmetic we have to know. This is not just a joke. This is law. We have to know. We have to abide. Law of nature. That's how criticism acts. But in that case, the king was not guilty at all. It was not king's fault that those holy people died. That's why that lady took 100% of those sins. That sin of killing of those brahmanas. Because she created the bridge between the heart of the king and her own heart, or between that activity, which actually was not committed, and her heart. So she invoked the results of committing that activity as a result, like a mental bridge. You extend, and you get all activity into your heart, and you have to suffer. So dangerous it is. That's why Krishna said to Uddhava, "I parasva bhava karmani na prashamsam nagarhayat. Vishwan ekantika pasyat prakritya purushena cha." The activities and qualities of others don't praise and don't criticize. Because in that case, a bridge is created between those qualities and activities in your heart. Understand? Like you sit down and you start to meditate on something. If it's a good object, very good result. If it's Krishna, brilliant result. If it's some footballer, rock star, then so-so result, because you get all the qualities. Both good and bad, everything. So in that same way, if you meditate on some bad activity or some good activity, you get bad karma or good karma. So you're again involved in that karmic circle with good or bad results. So you get all that.
It's so subtle, Maharaj, because she didn't have any malicious intent. She was trying to protect the other brahmanas.
No, she had malicious intent.
Okay.
She wanted to blaspheme the king.
Okay.
She wanted to blaspheme the king. She was evil. So she received. So we have to, simply mind our business. None of our business. Who's done. That's why Gurudev was saying that. There was during Gurudev's preaching, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, the atmosphere was so revolutionary. Nobody was neutral. Everybody was either positive or negative. That's typical. That's natural. So those negative people were giving so much trouble to devotees, here in England also, in Nana, and anyway, end of the 90s. So devotees were complaining to Srila Gurudev. Oh, they're saying this, they're doing that. Gurudev saying, whatever they do, let them do. Oh, he's a cheater, he's a bogus person. Don't worry about others, worry about us. Whatever they do, let them. Oh, he's a cheater, he's a bogus. Whatever they do, let them do. Okay, not our. Understand. We sometimes like to live others' lives because we're too much impressive. Those people who watch a lot of TV and serials, etc., etc., they start living the lives of those heroes. Like on those, in that fiction novel. In that fiction novel, the walls were full of relatives, and they were imposing their ideas to the watchers, to the onlookers. And you're full of ideas of some people who actually are not not related to you at all. And you think about this and that footballer, that rock star, that politician, that everything you're talking about, everything you're reading about, internet, this, that. So where's your sadhana question? You're thinking about Mickey Mouse, this and that and this and that, and you see. So we're not minding our business. What is our business? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam, Archanam, Vananam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmani, Vedanam, but we forget the second verse in this. Actually, two verses, Prahlad Maharaj said. Iti pumsarpito Vishnu, bhaktischanna valakshana, kriyatam bhagavat yadha, tadbaniya priti. Anyway, pumsarpito Vishnu, bhaktischanna valakshana. First, you have to pumsarpito Vishnu. You have to be surrendered to Vishnu, to Krishna. And then you have Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Otherwise, you do hearing, chanting, remembering, you get karma. Good karma, that's it. Yes. And you go to heaven and things like that. You chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama all life and then go to heaven. You want? Become demigod? Many people do. Because that's their intention. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, and then what's your intention? So, we're approaching a very important subject, which is actually today's subject, anartha nivriti. So the creeper expands, but especially at the early stages, the devotional creeper is not alone. There are many creepers manifesting next to him, next to the initial creeper, and they pose as the right creeper. They pose as the original creeper. So those weeds are not at all devotional creeper, and they're called unwanted creepers. Sometimes unwanted creepers, such as the creepers of desires for material enjoyment and liberation from material world, bhukti mukti, siddhi kami, mystic powers, desire for sense enjoyment, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. So those of you who are gardeners, you know, there's so many weeds, and some of them are so clever, they look exactly like the creeper you want to protect. So mundane adoration, you know, so many we'll discuss now. So those creepers of behavior unacceptable for those trying to achieve perfection, diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, mundane importance, all those things, very subtle. So in order to examine them, we have to see the chart of anarthas. Anarthas means unwanted qualities, yes. An means no, and artha means having value. So something having no value, those are called anarthas, or unwanted creepers. So Srimad Bhagavatam states about actually Puranas about those 4 types of anarthas. You can see in Bhajana Rahasya, second yama, beginning. 4 kinds, Amnaya Sutra. Says that there are 4 anarthas, 4 types of anarthas, 4 times 4. The first group is called Swarupa Brahma. Have you heard this Siddhanta before? You've heard it. Swarupa Brahma means the illusion about real identity. One's real identity, and we'll speak a bit more about that. So each type has 4 subdivisions. So 4 times 4, 16 anarthas. 16. We have to chant minimum 16 rounds and be aware of 16 type of anarthas. Second one is asat trishna, or hankering for that which is temporary. Asat trishna. The third one is aparad, or offenses. And the fourth one is very, very difficult to overcome, hridaya durbalya, or weakness of the heart. Hridaya durbalya. So the first one is Swarupa Brahma. Four kinds. First one, Jiva Swarupa Brahma, or false conception about living entity. Second one, Paratattva Brahma, or false conception about Supreme Personality of Godhead. Number three, Sadhya Sadhana Tattva Brahma, the false conception about the path and the goal. And Bhajana Virodha Vishaya Brahma, accepting different paths which are not related to bhakti, such as karma, jnana, yoga, etc. So 1.1, okay, you can look up later. If you cannot record now, look up later in Bhajana Rahasya, second yama, that list. So Jiva Swarupa Brahma, 1.1. Jiva means living entity. So living entity cannot realize his transcendental form because of ignorance. Also, living entity can have wrong conception about the position of the living entity, of its own position, his own position. Some people think that we fell from spiritual world here. This is quite wrong. Absolutely untrue. Those who live there in spiritual world, they never come down. Krishna says in 2 verses in Bhagavad Gita. They never come. So certain cases when it happens by the very special sanctions of the Lord, so they can come here and preach. So Jiva Swarupa Brahma, general meaning we forgot about our real identity. We're thinking we're the enjoyers. Actually, we're servants of Krishna. Jivara Swarupa Hoy, Krishna Nityadas, Krishna Ratadasta Shakti Beda Bed Prakash. So in the time immemorial, we took the wrong choice, being situated between spiritual energy and material energy. Spiritual energy, material energy. Coming from the glance of Mahavishnu, we glanced upon material energy and got attracted by it like magnet. Little particles got attracted by a magnet. So therefore we're residing in the material world and by the force of material energy trying to enjoy. So our mother, material energy, Durga Devi, is pushing us. Come on, kids, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And we go and try to enjoy, but she beats us. Ah, now I'll punish you. Mother, but you were pushing us. Not my fault. That's my job. All right. So, like this. And silly people come to Durga Devi and they ask for more enjoyment. But Durga Devi gives them enjoyment and, hey boy, you have to pay. You forgot. Everything you have to pay for. But the boy is intoxicated. I don't want to pay, get lost. What? I'll put you in a dungeon. And she becomes custodian. She's the custodian of material world. And all the naughty kids are the prisoners. Like this. That's our position is, but we're thinking we're gods. We're enjoyers, everything for me. But, if you have some intelligence, you can understand. Are, you will not be able to endure so long. You'll break. You'll just break. What's that philosophy, of psychedelic revolution? Live fast, die young, isn't it? So that's like extreme enjoyment, and body just collapses. Cannot stand. Yes, but your body, physical body, has to collapse when bhava comes, the real transcendental emotion comes. Then body will collapse out of spiritual ecstasy, spiritual emotion. That's the path of bhakti which leads to that. This body will fall anyway, quite soon. A few dozen years, he will go. I remember yesterday I was running like anything, but it was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But now, well, certain functions start to fail, which is, thought-provoking. So this is 1.1. Then 1.2, Paratattva Brahma, the imperfect understanding or misunderstanding of the absolute truth. Some people think God doesn't exist. Some people think he exists as the impersonal light. and that's it, and we have to melt with it. Very few people know that the light has source, transcendental body of the Lord, where he experiences amazing rasa, amazing relationships filled with amazing taste with all of his associates in spiritual world. So therefore people in India, they worship so many demigods, Shiva, Durga, Ganesha, etc., etc., etc. Here in monotheistic religions, they also go to the same Jesus, for example, but they ask for money, for honey, for this, for that. So if you have your material assets, some churches think, oh, then the bhajan is very good, and the worship is good. Because I asked God, for such and such amount, and I got it. Jesus is truth. Jesus is the path. Here you go. But all of your objective is material poison. So 1.3, sadhana sadhya brahma, means the improper understanding of the goal and the path. Some people say not tattipat. In India, there's a philosophy. What your desire is, what your feeling is, so that's your God. All worship, any demigods, lead to one result. It's the same to worship Krishna, worship Shiva, worship Durga, worship Jesus Christ, worship Allah, they say, same path. So that's Brahma, that's misunderstanding. Or people, even in churches, religious organizations, who recognize that path of sadhana bhakti should be proper, with proper understanding. I'm Krishna Das, I'm the servant, and he's the master. Sometimes they misunderstand the process. They think, oh, just distribute books, and by that, automatically, by Lord Chaitanya's grace, you will go to spiritual world. But this book distribution is only the method to collect sukritis, only the method to collect devotional merits. These activities will not give you Krishna Prema. In order to get Krishna Prema, you have to be situated in sadhana bhakti very, very nicely. Sadhana bhakti means chanting, hearing, chanting, and remembering. You have to doing very diligently. So then, the holy name is both sadhana and sadhya, both method to achieve perfection and perfection it is. So, and 1.4 is called bhajana virodhi vishaya brahma, means the wrong understanding that by taking any other path, karma, jnana, yoga, tapasya, means reward-seeking activity, knowledge of impersonal substance or empiric knowledge, cultivating mystic powers, or cultivating austerities, different kinds, you can achieve the same results as doing bhakti. That is quite wrong. So this is one. Then second one is asat trishna, or different desires which are related to asat, or temporary results, imperfect results. 4 types. Desire for objects in this material world. Okay, roughly speaking, new washing machine, new wife, new this, new that. So then desire for heavenly planets. People consciously perform those austerities, perform those yagyas, and they go to heavenly planets. Then mystic powers, to be able to obtain anything from anywhere, to be able to control, even create a planet. A yogi can create a planet. A yogi can exhibit himself in 9 forms, maximum 9 forms. Those are some limits. But Krishna is the actual mystic, master of mystic powers. So his mystic powers are unlimited. But yogis, therefore, are very limited. And desire for liberation. Those are jnanis. They want to melt the absolute. But that is quite contrary to pure devotion. That contains no rasa, no ecstatic taste. So number 3, aparada or offenses. 4 kinds. Nama aparad, 10 offenses to the holy name. We discussed in our second meeting. We discussed. Now offenses to Krishna's deity. We have deity here, and seva aparad, different kinds of, like coming with shoes on a palanquin, sitting facing back, or improper pose like this, for example. It's not, you cannot do like this. Different things. Impure, being in an impure state while worshipping, etc., etc. So these are called seva aparad. There are 32, I think, seva aparad. And then dhamma aparad, or offenses to Krishna's abode, Vrindavan. Consider Krishna's holy abode an ordinary place of this material world. Oh, so many monkeys here, pigs, rubbish. Tourists, come from clean Europe and they see rubbish. Instead, you have to see at least the temples. You have to feel the atmosphere. You have to see how unimaginably high and spiritual place that is. But they're seeing, like pigs always see stools. So those people, they see rubbish, etc. So this is called dhamma aparad. Or considering residents of the holy abode as an ordinary people. Even if those people formally are cheaters, thieves, etc., they want your money, etc., they're not ordinary persons. Not. There's a great sukriti, great devotional merits they have to be able to have been born in that holy abode. And fourth, 3.4 is jiva aparada, or offense to living entities. Even devotees, beginning devotees, they sometimes have that offense. Devotees, I have to respect Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, but my neighbor, he's a nasty meat eater, he's a karmi, showing him non-devotional mudra, etc., and then having a fight with him, etc. That's called jiva aparatha. Jiva aparatha, yes. Jiva aparatha. So now number 4, very, very dangerous impediment. It's called hridaya durbalya, or weakness of the heart. So the first one is tucca asakti. Tucca asakti, 4.1. Tucca asakti means tucca, lietuviškai tuščias. In Lithuania, there's a word which comes from there directly, means empty. Yes. So empty attachment to some worthless things. So a devotee can be having diksha and even saffron, but some attachment to some, watching movies, collecting things, watching football instead of haribol, etc. This is called tucca asakti. That degrades you, brings you to this material world. If you stay in this, if you watch what you watch, there you will go. Right? So if you stay in Vrindavan, then don't watch mundane movies. I know people who stay in Vrindavan watching mundane movies. Yes. So better stay here and watch movies about Vrindavan then. Vice versa. Vice versa. Okay. So more healthy, So that attachment to worthless objects. Now kutinati. This kutinati thing is very, very deep. Very, very difficult to fight. Kutinati means diplomatic behavior. Diplomatic behavior. There are 2 parts in this word, ku and na, and they have more or less same meaning. Means something harmful, something forbidden, something having no value. So people, what is diplomacy? Posing yourself as an advanced, but actually secretly performing sins. When Sita, the spouse of Lord Ram, was with him in the forest, and Lakshman was there also. Then Ravana came. Ravana came in disguise of a Brahmana. Ravana, the great demon, came in disguise of a Brahmana. So he became Ravana Sadhu Maharaj. And he was posing, Oh, Bhiksham Dehi, Bhiksham Dehi. Ram has left. There's a separate story why left and where. And then Lakshman left. Lakshman, Ram's brother, had to leave after his brother. But he left Sita within a magic circle. While Sita was within magic circle, she was not able to be harmed by anyone. But Ravana knew that. And by his deluding speeches, he allured Sita to come out of the limits of the magic circle. So she stepped out and was kidnapped, like this. So that's Ravana Sadhu. Actually, his weakest demon with 10 heads, but since he had knowledge of black magic, he manifested himself as a Brahmana, nicely looking, everything, speaking first-class language, everything, nice manners. So it's like Ravana Sadhu. What externally Sadhu Maharaj, and internally some other thing. So hypocrisy and deceit, deceitful, hypocritical behavior. Very terrible, very terrible. Better be fallen, directly. Like say, I'm fallen, I'm a fool. Actually, my friends, secret. Unless you say to Sri Guru, I'm a complete fool, directly, you cannot progress in spiritual life at all. First, you have to recognize I'm a complete fool, like this. Indian gesture like this, and squad, like this, like this, like this. Very funny, but that's true. So please give mercy, like this. And if you think I'm so learned, I'm in front of your Guru, and Guru will punish you. Yes. Show who you are, really. Guru will neglect you, ignore you, like this. Very good for you then. You're very lucky if the Guru might just not pay attention. So, envy upon seeing prosperity of others. Envy, Matsarya. There are 6 enemies. We have 6 enemies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. 6. And 5 of them we can engage in devotional service. Kama means lust. Kama, Krodha means anger. Kama, Krodha, Lobha means greed. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada means madness. Moha, illusion. So these 5 we can engage. Kama, lust. Gopis were full of kama, of transcendental lust towards Krishna. So we're chanting our Gayatri mantras, we're praying, oh Lord, please transform our kama into prema. Transform our lust into transcendental lust, in the mood of the gopis, towards Kamadev, Lord of transcendental lust, Krishna. So that's why we address him Kamadevaya. Oh Kamadev, transcendental Kamadev Krishna, please let me hear the sound of your flute. So that's very, very deep meditation during Kama Gayatri chanting. So then we have some chance that we will be bestowed that mercy to be able to taste Kama of the gopis. So, yeah. Kama, Krodha. Krodha means anger. You must be angry if somebody offends your Guru. You must be. You must uproot his tongue, with, not with knife, but with knowledge, logic and arguments. Logic and arguments that glorify your Gurudev. So if you call that person fool and rascal, no harm at all, no offense, because you're defending your Guru. So you're acting properly. Then your devotional life is saved. If you're silent, then you are an accomplice, yes. You're performing same aparat, but in a passive way. So, Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Lobha means greed. Greed for Harikatha. Greed for seva, for service. Greed for prasad is good also. What? Moderate quantities. All Mahaprasad, there's no. Mahaprasad, there's no question. Especially Charanamrita from great personality. Mahaprasad, remnants of their food. One speck of that will give bhakti very easily. That's what will happen. So kama, krodha, lobha, mada means madness. Gopis were mad after Krishna. Moha, illusion. Radhika was embracing tamal tree, black tamal tree, the trunk of black tamal tree, thinking that was Krishna. So that is illusion, transcendental illusion. So we can be also engaging in that at high level of devotional consciousness. But matsarya or envy, we cannot engage in Krishna's service. We cannot. Sometimes we can see that the gopis of Radhika's group and the gopis of Chandravali's group, and they are kind of envious to each other. No, that is actually transcendental competition. Who can serve Krishna better? And that is perfect, because that's the desire of Krishna. That's why Yogamaya creates that atmosphere, especially for Krishna's pleasure, because Krishna loves variety. He loves so many devotees to serve him in so many ways. Chandravali is thinking, I belong to Krishna. That's one mood. What's that? Grita sneha means like ghee. Ghee is sweet, but not enough sweet. You need to mix it with something. But Radhika's mood is madhu sneha, means like honey, organically sweet, no need of any sweetener. So Krishna needs that, and he wants that and wants that also. Certainly preferences under Radhika, that's great, great secret. That Krishna is fully controlled by Radhika and only by Radhika. But that's spiritual world. But here in material world, we should not be envious of others. Oh, that devotee came yesterday. I remember how he came, and now he's put down. Now he's close to, let's say, Madhya Madhikari, became Madhya Madhikari in 2 years. Means medium level of devotion. It's very high. Medium level devotion. It's very, very high. We're thinking medium is like that, but it's very high already. The beginning of stage of devotion is very long and difficult. We're now discussing these impediments we have to overcome, you know. But he overcame these impediments in 2-3 years because totally surrendered to Sri Guru. I'm your property. Okay. Blessings, 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 blessings. And everything that devotee receives is totally blessings and nothing but blessings. And we're just sitting somewhere, you know, looking at the ceiling, thinking our thoughts. And at that time, he's progressing like anything. I'm sometimes so envious, you know, in good sense. Those ladies who stay by the side of Didi and Vrindavan, our spiritual master lady, you know. They're progressing like anything. They're doing everything Vraja Gopis are doing. They're going to the bazaar, to the market. They're like gopis. They bring bhoga for Thakuraji, for the deity. You know, they're doing their seva, they're doing garlands, they're doing kunja decoration, they're doing everything with such dedication. It's just amazing. So very, very quickly they move. Some of them, like my nieces, I remember them. They came 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I remember how it happened. Now they're, and where am I? I was thinking, oh my God. Yeah, you old chap, you know, you're sitting, you're looking at the ceiling, comparing to what they're doing. So there should not be a place for envy in devotional path, Matsarya. So yeah, this is 4.2, Matsarya or envy. So possessions of others. Others possess bhakti. We have to be rejoicing. You know? They possess bhakti. We must feel happy, you know. But we're thinking, yeah, my elbow, you know, knowing my elbow, out of envy. You know? No, should not take place. Should not take place. So, oh, this is 4.3, and finally 4.4, the last one, desire for prestige and position. Pratishta, swapratishta lalasa. I'm important, you know. Well, that's very materialistic. In material life, everybody wants to be number one, you know. But devotee's vision is different. He sees good qualities of others. Good qualities of others. You can see good qualities in any person. Any person. That Prabhu is so nice, you know. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to have one practice. When devotees were quarreling and were, what's that called, complaining to him, he was putting them one in front of the other and giving them instruction, a guru vakya, instruction. Now glorify each other in front of everyone. Glorify each other. And they were glorifying, trying to glorify, to find good qualities, you see. So a sadhu or a holy man will see good qualities anywhere. Anywhere. In the worst place, they will see best. One time, in the old Gaudiya Math, one cook left his body. Cook. Well, he was a nasty guy. Anyway, he was cooking, and probably cooking nicely because he was a cook for the deities. But his character was so nasty, terribly. Nobody, when he died, nobody remembered any good things about him. And the devotees were like in a room adjacent to Srila Prabhupada's room. Two devotees were discussing his bad qualities. Like he died, but they were saying, he was like this, he was like that. And Prabhupada immediately came out of his room and said loudly to both of them, he was ideally ironing his dhoti every day, his clothes. He was ideally ironing his dhoti every day, his devotional clothes, like this. Certainly, what kind of person? Best quality, he was ironing his dhoti very good. Leaders of this world, they're in impeccable, suits and ties and everything. It's very clean.
He would also be knowing the mood he had when he was ironing.
Yes, that's another thing.
There's a lot of mood. The Mahabhagavats, they understand the mood of every individual.
Yes.
They don't point out externally what you and I are seeing. They know exactly the mood.
Yeah, but
we do not know the mood of each other, but even the nature of each other. We spend our whole lives with each other. How much do we know each other? Usually, very small percentage. That thing you said about glorifying, saying the qualities of each other, I heard that you say 10. Find 10 things about that person that you're not really fond of. Let's put it in a very nice way. You're not particularly fond of that person. In actual fact, when you're not fond of someone, it can bring out certain elements of your own character. When you see someone presenting something that you don't actually like in yourself, it's actually a kind of a mirror sometimes, which wakes you up in actual fact to say, okay, I'm responding to this, and I do not know why I'm feeling in such a way, but usually it's because you are connecting. Why are you connecting? Because you're relating. Most of the beginnings, the starting points in our devotional practice is about sambandha, our friendship, relationship. Without the relationship, there's nothing. Without the beginning, which is relationship in every aspect of life, whether it's spiritual or material, there can't be any advancement. We have to really know who we are dealing with. So you stay with people who are like-minded, affectionate to you, and a little bit more advanced maybe. And we're told that's also written in scripture. You stay with those who are like-minded, and you can get a lot more positivity and growth by being with people who are like-minded. I think Prabhupada also said there are many. Every one of us is an individual. So many personalities. So
Gaur Premanande.
relationship is so important.
So so Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. He's saying, as soon as you notice those unwanted creepers, immediately the gardener has to curb that.
In oneself.
Cut instantly. Then the real creeper, Bhakti Lata, grows nicely, returns home back to Godhead, seeks shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. So finally, the growth of the Kripa continues, and the Kripa finds itself at the lotus feet of Krishna in the spiritual world, filled with rasa, and to taste the fruit of devotional service of Golok is the highest perfection of life. In the presence of such perfection, the four material perfections, religion, economic development, sense gratification, liberation, very insignificant achievements. Very insignificant achievements. So what are those relationships with Krishna? What are those rasas, those amazing types of relationship filled with rapture? We'll be discussing tomorrow, probably the day after, in Watford. So we'll finish Rupa-siksa there, discuss at length, and also that will be combined with our overview of Bhajan Rahasya, which we started in Hastings. So Shri Rupa-siksa ki jai, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari. Oh, today is the disappearance day of Shri Saranga Thakur, great, great devotee, associate of Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Saranga Thakur was so qualified. Mahaprabhu once was speaking to him, "Oh Saranga, you have to accept disciples." So he said, no, I cannot see anyone qualified. Anyone I can see qualified, that's why I'm not accepting. But Mahaprabhu said, no, please, the first one you can see tomorrow, you initiate. And Saranga Thakur was thinking, yes, okay, I'll follow this. So Saranga Thakur the following morning went to the Ganga. He was staying in Mamagachi. That's one of the where Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur's birthplace, in one of the islands of Navadvip Mandala. So he went to the Ganga, and in the Ganga he was doing his ablutions, and he noticed one dead body floating on the Ganga. That was a dead body of a boy. The boy's parents didn't burn him, because when young children die before 12 years of age, they are just put in the Ganga. Yeah. So they didn't burn him. And then Saranga Murari took him from the water, laid him down on the bank, and said the mantra into his ears. And the boy came back to life and was initiated thus. What is your name? My name is Murari. So you will be Murari Das now, Murari Thakur, disciple of Shri Saranga Thakur. So then Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to see the wonderful devotee, new devotee. And then his parents also knew that he resurrected. And they came and they talked to him, "Oh, please come home, come home." No, you gave me just mortal body, so that body died. He was bitten by a snake, actually. When children were bitten by snakes, they were not cremated at that time. You gave me just a dead body which was dead, but now my guru gave me a new body, which is spiritual body, so we'll stay with him. So in Murari Thakur's house, there's a deity of Shiv Vasudeva Datta, I think, yeah, and deity he was worshipping, and another deity, Gaur Gadadhar, worshipped by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. So we remember Shri Saranga Murari Thakur ki jai. In Krishna's Leela, he was Nandi Mukhi, the sister of Madhumangal, the daughter of, granddaughter of Yogamaya Purnamasi, and daughter of Sandipani Muni. So, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. If you have any questions or anything you want to add, most welcome. Those devotees online also welcome to ask questions. And thank you very much, dear devotees in London. There's a huge sangha, different types combined. And wish you wonderful new programs. And our tour is continuing. We're going to Raghunath Prabhu's, and there will be 2 programs in Watford. day after tomorrow, bigger program, larger program. Tomorrow
Where's the
Well,
program tomorrow?
we will have broadcast. It's in Watford.
And
There's one
Raghunath.
on Saturday in Watford, right?
Yeah, one on Saturday, but tomorrow is like small, unofficial.
So where's the Saturday one?
Saturday one is Raghunath's place.
Raghunath.
Raghunath Inn. I know that one, but where's the one on Friday?
Same.
Here.
No,
Raghunath.
Watford,
Yeah.
Watford.
Oh, two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's
It's a smaller one.
Yeah.
Smaller one. Anyway, we'll continue and probably we'll finish Rupa-siksa tomorrow. Because today, for finishing Rupa-siksa is like huge topic, and it's better to speak at length at one.
What
Yeah.
were we discussing Saturday?
Saturday, there will be some guests and there will be more like general subjects. Same as here first 2 days. It's also good. But we're between Rupa-siksa and Bhajana Rahasya. Because I got a request from Hastings to give Bhajana Rahasya seminar next time. Probably a week-long seminar, because in the Russian sector we do seminars a lot. I'm a seminar man, you know, actually. One time I gave seminar of Bhagavad Gita in China, I remember. That was the English one. But Russian seminars, like we did really, really long. 51 part seminar Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And now we're reading Caitanya Shikshamrita, already 20 broadcasts. So anyway, my first language. So anyway, in English also possible. I hope that my English is not that bad. So I can. Any questions from the public? Any comments? Nayan, as usual, hand up. Camera! No. All right.
Marge,
Uh-huh.
please forgive my duplicity, but I just wanted to get clarification from you about that point you made about the first thing you said is Kirtanam. So my misunderstanding is, is that it's Shravanam Kirtanam.
No, read Sanatana Shiksha. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu clearly said, Taramadi Sarva Sreshta Nama Sankirtan. So out of 64, there are 9 main ones. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sivanam Archanam Vandanam Nasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. Out of 9, 5. That is Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavat Shravan Mathur Vasa Shri Murtira Shraddhaya Sivan. That's also to Sanatana Goswami. Out of them, 3 most important. So 5. Nama Kirtan, Sadhu Sangha, the association of saints, Nama Kirtan, chanting of the holy name, Bhagavat Shravan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Bhagavat devotee, very high class devotee. Mathur Vasa, residing in Mathura, Vrindavan, and serving the deity. Shri Murtira Shraddhaya Sivan, with faith. So these 5. But out of 5, 3. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Shravanam, hearing, Kirtanam, speaking, chanting, glorifying, and remembering Smaranam. So out of them, Sarva Sreshta Nama Sankirtan. Out of them, Nama Sankirtana, or chanting of the holy name, is most important. One more, please, like this. Yeah, take. So, yeah, so that's why we have to know that Kirtanam is most important, because it will never disappear. It is here, but it will be in spiritual world also. So it's universal. We'll never stop chanting the holy name. That's why it's most important. But you have to chant after hearing, that's true. That's why they go together. Also, when you chant, you hear automatically, and you remember also at the same time. So it's very universal, chanting. Any more?
Shravanam Kirtanam, and the third one was
Smaranam. Yeah, that's it. Any more questions? What's your name? Achyuta Priya. And gentleman's name?
Chow.
Chow. Okay. Nice to see everyone. It's a good company today. Very lovely. And thanks Yashoda Didi for coming all the way from Oxford. Thanks Jagatam Didi for coming all the way from Watford. I'm very happy to have everyone. And any more topics for discussion? Our merciful host, the ever-fresh Sundarananda Prabhu. Yes. Thank you for a comment at the end.
I'm sorry. I know sometimes I bit naughty like that.
No,
Spontaneous.
it's spontaneous. It's
But
spontaneous.
it is true. There was one other thing I wanted to add, which was in my mind. Is that
Okay.
one time in America, I forget which ISKCON temple.
Sundarana Prabhu silent, and fourth last program
So-
at the end.
Srila Prabhupada was visiting America, and as you know, all of Prabhupada's disciples are so excited with the lives. Prabhupada wanted to visit one particular temple where a devotee, and this is about devotee relationships, where a devotee was sent out of the temple because he had got married. He was a brahmachari. And Prabhupada remembered him from the early days when he first came and they opened the temple. He was one of the key figure sevaks of that temple. But he decided to get married and had a different life. So some of the other other devotees who were staying there felt they decided upon their own initiatives that he should no longer remain in the temple because he took up a relationship. And of course you may need to be outside. So, but also maybe they also said not to come back until you've given up this relationship. Prabhupada came to visit the temple and said, no, I will not come to this temple unless you bring this Prabhu back. You didn't inform me that you're asking him to leave, whether it's temporarily or whether it's a long term. So before you can invite me back into my temple, you have to bring my disciple back. He was my key disciple. So he had a lot of honor and relationship with everyone that he actually initiated. You know, that's so important that they don't forget who you are. And you know that Prabhu was a little bit saddened because he was under a lot of pressure to leave, because he had his nature, his need for his own nature had changed, which meant he wanted to go into grahastha life. And that does happen. And this is a very, very common thing in devotional life. Some want to get married, and you can still be a devotee if you're married as well. It's not always recommended because you have to take a lot more responsibility on. Being a devotee is also a responsibility, right? But being married and a devotee is a double responsibility. You've got to look after so many. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Gaur Premanande. Take care, lovely people of London.
And we're going to do arti.
Thank you very much. Yes, we're going to do arti. But if there are some questions which are still in the hearts and not answered, it's a last
You've got 5
chance.
minutes.
Yeah, Lawrence.
25
Yes.
minutes.
I think that was aimed at me.
Oh.
Yeah, so regarding anarthas,
Hmm.
so obviously there were different types that you mentioned. So are these anarthas coming from like past impressions, or how do they actually sprout? Like we did Dubai, for example.
Mhm.
Do they sprout, like does each individual anarthas sprout different ways? Are they all coming from the same source, or how do they translate?
Well, in Madhurya Kadambini, one moment. In Madhurya Kadambini, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti classifies them. He says that there are 4 types. Sukritartha, Dushkritartha, Aparadhata, Bhaktiuta. They come from sinful activities from the past, Dushkritartha. Sukritartha from pious activities. Aparadhata coming from offenses. And Bhaktiuta coming from some mistakes committed on the path of Bhakti already. So especially heavy those coming from Aparadhata, from offenses. There's a chart, very nice chart in Gurudev's edition of Madhurya Kadambini, the dynamics of disappearance of anarthas. So you can see that those, I studied it because we had seminar on Madhurya Kadambini. I had it translated into Russian as well, so I looked through diligently. So the principle is that those apparatus coming from Dushkritota, Sukritota, means from sinful activities and pious activities from the past, disappear quite quickly. On the level of Nishtha, practically they are atyantika, completely destroyed. Also from Bhaktiuta, from some mistakes on the path of Bhakti, disappear quite quickly. But Aparadhata, anarthas, coming from offenses, the smell maintains even at the level of bhav, at the level of even beginning of prema, up to beginning of prema, there is some smell of aparatha to anarthas. Only at the level of uttam, when you enter the lila, then you're free completely. Then you can enter. You cannot enter until you are not free from aparatha to anarthas. So those examples, like Bilva Mangal, who was Bhavuka Bhakta, like who else you were saying? Bharata Maharaj, also Bhavuka Bhakta, must have committed some offenses before. They were real sadhakas, especially Bilva Mangal, for sure. It was real sadhaka. So, bhavuka. Bhavuka means having bhav, level of bhav. So, he was, Bhavuka Bhakta, but all of a sudden, when his father died, all of those items which were meant for his funeral ceremony brought to his girlfriend, to his Chintamani, prostitute he was attached to. And then she told him, like, oh, if you, you came to me, there was a great storm at that time, pouring, turbulent waters. He swam across the river to get into her house. And then she told him, look, if you dedicate all that, energy for Krishna, then if you dedicated all of that energy, if you gave your attention fully to Krishna, then you would have been a really honorable man. So that was the turning point. He considered Chintamani, the courtesan, his Shiksha Guru, his instructing spiritual master. He starts his classical book, Krishna Karnamrita, from the name Chintamani. Chintamani, Guru. He's mentioning Chintamani, then he's mentioning his Guru, Somagiri, and mentioning Krishna, who is actually his Guru. So like this. So the point is that, so those anarthas coming from offenses are especially deep-rooted and very dangerous and difficult to overcome, but everything is possible. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was engaging all devotees in cleaning Gundicha temple, first there were sweeping, dust, etc., but then there was some spots of black tar on the floor. So those spots of black tar correspond to those aparadhata anarthas coming from offenses, impediments coming from offenses. So you need to use some special washing powder, liquid, some tough sponge, like hard sponge, to get rid of them. Otherwise, with ordinary water, they will never. So you have to, like, special endeavor, like Harinama Chintamani, also important to read. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book. So he's giving remedy from each and every Nama Aparad, from Vaishnava Aparad also. So the main rule, to get rid of that aparad, you offended some Vaishnava, you have to consider yourself full number one. It's in front of Guru, in front of Vaishnavas, says, please forgive me, I'm total fool, I made that mistake. At once you get purified, at once you're forgiven, first of all, because Vaishnavas are adoshadarshi, they cannot see any bad qualities, any deficiencies. They see only good everywhere.
I was going to say, like, but what if you're, like, too much apologetic? Like, if you kind of, apologies are important, but you're too much apologizing, then that's also a problem in itself.
Well, it should be reasonable, that's true, but also I would say better too much than too little.
There you go. That's a good answer.
Better, and on the second thought, like, who is that person who is determining that two thing? Like, who is saying that it's too much? Rather to say just much. So, okay. But little, not so good. But much, never too much. Sometimes it becomes like a mania, There's a story by Anton Chekhov Russian writer. There was a person who came to the theater, 19th century, and a general was sitting just on the next row. General having big bald patch, and at certain moment that person sneezed on that bald patch of a general, sneezed, Oh, Your Excellency, please forgive me, Your Excellency. Oh my God, what I'm gonna do? I'll go to hell now. I sneezed on the sacred bald patch of it. General, Your Excellency. Okay, right, okay. Then there was a break between the two parts, and he, Your Excellency, please, on his shoulders, like, okay, I've forgiven you. I have forgiven you. Don't you understand? Then the person was not satisfied by that, so he went to his home, visited to his home, and got a special audience. Who is the next? Oh, that from the theater, that guy from the theater. Your Excellency, please get out of here immediately. Get out of here. I told you I've forgiven you, so don't invoke my anger again. And the guy went home and died. That's
Is that true?
Is it true? It's Anton Chekhov's story. Anyway, he composed it. But he was a great humorist also. So I mean, that was a too much case, so don't, how to say, invoke Vaishnava's anger in that way, otherwise, okay, get out. So, okay, forgiven. So we have to understand that Vaishnavas are all forgiving, and when we found ourselves in situations like that, obviously we don't understand the nature of Vaishnavas as all forgiving. So they're all forgiving. They're all forgiven. Yeah, so we have to be, begging for forgiveness, but not to the level of disturbing. So you start disturbing them, all right. So you have to know that they're forgiven. Otherwise, if he's not forgiven, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying the remedy in Harinama Chintamani. If he is not forgiving, what to do? Try to serve him. Try to serve him. If he doesn't accept your service, then go and chant Harinam. That's it.
Try to serve. Can you do that indirectly as well, serving him?
Thakuraji will help from within. The deity will help. But anyway, you've made everything from your side, all endeavors. So he doesn't accept. I think Krishna will accept. He will not accept, maybe because of features of character, but Krishna will accept. Like this, Hare Krishna. Thanks very much. Surya from Watford is writing. Oh yes, hope you're well. Yes, so just give him the link. Surya ji, turn on the TV. Here we go. We're there, still on the screen. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so. So now we will do Harati, and there will be some person. Try ready.
It's all, yeah, 1, 2, 3 seconds.